Go for it.
All right, cool. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. This podcast is on the All Things Comedy Network. Go to allthingscomedy.com, and there's a host of comics there with their own podcasts. Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer, Date Fails with Kate Quigley, Danish and O'Neill, and just the names just keep going on. The late, great Brody Stevens had a podcast there. There's just too many comics to name, and I'm tired. But go there. This podcast is also available now on Art19 if you're listening. Like, we moved it from SoundCloud to Art19, so all the subsequent episodes are there. So go there and check this episode out along with the other ones. And you can watch this podcast, this episode, and my terrible, horrible beard on YouTube. Go to Soccer Comic Rant or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards or Ian Edwards YouTube, and you'll see this podcast. You can watch it there. And our sponsor is onthevolleyapparel.com. Go to onthevolleyapparel.com, and they have tank tops, hoodies, sweatshirts, tees for men and women with a hip-hop soccer emblems or logos on the front. And they got some really fly stuff. You can use my promo code Comic Rant. Let me say that again clearly, Comic Rant, and you get 20% off. So go ahead, purchase some shit, and look good in your house, because it looks like the second wave is coming, or the first wave, the 1B wave. Second wave is coming in the fall, but this is 1B. So get some outfits to wear in your house for 1B. And our guest is Martin Harris. What up, Martin?
Hey.
Brave. Martin Harris, 442 Magazine. He writes for them. And he's in the movie The Hunt. He's also a voice on, what video game is it, Martin? Bunch of them, right?
Yeah, a bunch of them. Call of Duty is the main one, yeah.
Call of Duty is the main one. And in Call of Duty, if you play the game, he's not wearing a tank top and showing his pale skin. So you don't have to worry about all that. You know what I mean? What up, Martin? How are you?
Good. I just finished the 7-day online challenge with Tony Robbins, who is like a motivating coach, and he's pretty good. I'll tell you. I was skeptical of that, but after 7 days, I think he's actually pretty good for the times like this, especially. But an interesting segue here. He's one of the owners of LAFC, and he even talked about it. He's one of the.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is. Together with Magic Johnson and another guy who had a very good weekend, in my opinion, which is Will Ferrell, because I've watched his new movie that premiered on Netflix called Eurovision, and I think it's one of the funniest movies I've seen in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I believe, because I talked to, for example, our friend Seth, and our friend Seth, after I recommended that film, he said it was good, not great, but also he doesn't know Eurovision that well. And I grew up watching Eurovision as a kid, which was like this big event, TV event, especially in the 80s and early 90s. Kind of ridiculous event if you think of it. And Will Ferrell makes fun of it, and generally of the music industry. And I think he wrote it and he stars in it with Rachel McAdams. And I get nothing for promoting it. I just think it's one of the funniest movies I've seen, really.
I grew up with that contest too.
Yeah.
In England,
I think you'll get the humor of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is something that doesn't exist in the Western Hemisphere. So, I mean, maybe it'll just be a bigger hit in Europe, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. It's not like I'm gonna be going to work anytime soon. I'm gonna be in the house, so I need some new shit to watch. So, thank you, Will Ferrell.
Extremely funny, and it's already number one in United States. It's number one in Europe as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, well deserved. I'll tell you that. Well deserved.
Well deserved. All right.
Also an LAFC co-owner. Another one.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just watch it just for that. You know, he's smart enough to be in a soccer and to not just be in the soccer, own a soccer team. So fuck it. You know what? I haven't seen it yet. Movie's amazing. Go out and watch it. It's the best movie of the decade. Check out, what's the name of the movie, Martin?
Eurovision.
Eurovision, yeah. The best movie of the decade with Will Ferrell, owner of LAFC, just for that. I'm trying to figure out where I want to start. So, because there's been FA Cup games, and there's been
Liverpool,
and and there's been league games, Premier League games, and I guess it's kind of old news now. How long's it been? When did Man City lose to Chelsea?
Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday. So it seems like a long time ago, but I did enjoy watching the match, and I did enjoy watching the celebrations of Liverpool clinching the Premier League title. And it's so funny. It's like Chelsea has won like 8 or 7 titles in the last few years, but only 5 of them belong to them. They've won titles for other teams. Like they beat Spurs to hand Leicester the title, or tied. They tied, yeah. And then they just beat Man City to hand Liverpool the title after 30 years. And it was so funny.
And they beat Liverpool when Liverpool lost the title, remember?
Yeah, and they beat Liverpool, yeah. So Chelsea's won 3 titles that don't belong to them. Yeah. And it's just funny when during the match, whenever Pulisic scored or any Chelsea player scored, they would show Liverpool players on the screen when you're watching a match, as opposed to like Chelsea player. They would show Chelsea fans. They would show Liverpool fans celebrating the Chelsea goals, as opposed to Chelsea fans celebrating the Chelsea goals. But
that was kind of the most ironic part of that broadcast. I remember when the game was about to end, and I think the host in the studio said, so there will be a little bit of a celebration probably in Liverpool, but not too much because of the social distancing. And then like 10 minutes later, all fans poured into the stadium. So
it was lit. It was lit red, and everybody got corona.
Yeah.
I mean, no masks, drinking, just all night party, flares, standing on top of buildings. One person had like a SUV, and everybody got on the top, and they drove through the crowd slowly as if it was a bus parade with people on the roof as pretending they were players. And Liverpool, you did it. Klopp, you did it. Van Dijk, you did it. Ronaldo, you did it. Jordan Henderson, you did it. You know, Salah, Mane, even though you don't get along, you did it. Firmino, you did it. Alexander Trent-Arnold, you did it. Robertson, you did it. Not Kepper. What's his name? What's the goalkeeper's name? Alisson Becker, you fucking did it. Amazing goalkeeping. Matip, Gomez, Van Dijk. Just all people I forgot to name.
Fabinho scored a great goal.
Say again?
Fabinho.
Fabinho.
Keita.
Yeah. Keita. You goddamn did it. You are a unit. You're a team.
Yeah.
Origi. Give Origi some credit. Like you guys did it. You.
James Milner.
What, man? And here's a question I gotta ask you. 2 questions. Henderson or Gerrard? Who goes down as the biggest Liverpool legend?
Depends what will happen in the future. I mean, if they win like 4 titles in a row, probably Henderson.
Right. But who would have thought that?
Title, I would say it would be close because, I mean, Gerrard was more beloved.
Right.
Henderson had, like, as you ask Kojo, I think he's his least favorite player, Henderson.
Yeah, but he dislikes him, but he's delivered as a captain.
Yeah.
He's delivered more than Gerrard so far, and his career is not even over. So it's just a weird question. Like, I would go Gerrard, but I'm not a Liverpool fan. And, like, Gerrard left his heart and soul on the field every game. And Henderson started out strong, then he died down, and Klopp came in, and then now he's become this guy. But I'm like, what is Klopp telling these people, these players, to make them all better?
I'll tell you this about Gerrard and Henderson comparison. I think you can compare it to the situation with Brazilian national team where Socrates was a better player, but Dunga led Brazil to winning the World Cup. Socrates didn't. So same with Gerrard. Gerrard kind of didn't lead Liverpool to the title, and he slipped in this important game where Henderson did deliver the title. So
right. But what's the answer though? So you say Henderson, or you say wait for the future?
I would say Gerrard was a better player, but Henderson might go down having better club career.
Right.
Have a better, more trophies and being more accomplished Liverpool player. Yeah.
Right. So does that change people's mind? That's my question. Like,
some people.
Yeah. And especially maybe like a younger generation that didn't see Gerrard as much. Right. So here's another question. So my feeling about Klopp is that whenever you join his team, you become a better player, right? So I don't know what you thought of, just the same way I just asked you, who would you prefer, Henderson or Gerrard? This is the same question, but just a little different. Milner at Man City or Milner at Liverpool? Which one is better? Liverpool.
Oh, by far.
By far.
Because he was never good enough to be the best player on the team, and I think Klopp found a niche for him where he was very effective. Yeah. Where when he came to, I remember when he started in the Premier League, he was 17 years old for Leeds, and he was this wonder kid that never really materialized. I think at City there were higher expectations what to see from him, and he never kind of materialized as this prodigy type of a player. But he's a useful player if you put him in the right system, in the right.
If you're Klopp and you find, Klopp found the right. I just think he became like, when I used to see Milner before, and he played for England, he would get up the field, and he'd almost turn into Ashley Young when it came time to like deliver the ball. It'd be like, oh, I can't believe you did all that work to just get free and deliver the ball to nobody. It's like, but on this team, I don't know what Klopp is teaching these guys, but just everybody just gets better, man. And that's what you're supposed to do as a coach.
Yeah, yes, but he also had a very particular system and the way of playing football. And he don't forget, he got rid of a lot of players. He got rid of Coutinho. He got rid of Benteke.
He didn't get rid of Coutinho. He had to.
Yeah,
he didn't want to.
But he could break him. He could have brought him back, and he didn't. He had this option of bringing him back, and
I wouldn't have brought him back either. It was easier not to bring him back than it was to lose him, because then you have this team that's doing something. You don't want to bring that big ass piece back and just knock the stuff out it would just throw the team out of alignment. It'd be like hitting a pothole. So, but Van Dijk wasn't as good as he was at Southampton as he is now, and Wijnaldum was good at Newcastle, but he's better now, Mane was good at Southampton, but he's way better now. Like now he's like Salah
as well.
Salah was good at Roma, but he's world. Like these players became like these are average players, like a little bit like on the edge of like they stand out on bad teams, and then now they're like world-class desired players, like the top teams in the world who were never looking at these people before they came to Liverpool and would look at Robertson, would look at Trent, would look at Wijnaldum, we'll look at Henderson, we'll look at Mane, Salah, Firmino. Firmino was, nobody like.
Yeah, he played at Hoffenheim in Germany.
Yeah. Mm. And then it's like, so it's crazy. Like you just name the whole roster, and it's like they came in here, and now they're up here.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny even mentioning Salah. Salah and De Bruyne are 2 out of probably 5 best players in the league right now, and Mourinho had them both at Chelsea and didn't want any of them. So that kind of makes it ironic that both Salah and De Bruyne were at Chelsea, and they didn't play, and they were let go.
Yeah, I saw a video yesterday. I don't know why it popped up in my feed of like when Man City was going to buy De Bruyne for 50 million, and all these pundits were like, "Well, Chelsea got him for 8 or 7,
Mhm.
and then they sold him to Germany for 10." So the guy was like, "Yeah, I get that. You bought him, he failed, you sell him, but now he's worth 50. Like, how is that?" Sorry, you're supposed to say excuse me. I bless you, but thank you, Mark.
Bless you. I didn't want to interrupt you. Yeah.
Don't worry, the sneeze already interrupted me. But the pundits were like, he's not worth it. If he failed here already, he's not going to come here and be good again. And they've been completely wrong about De Bruyne. So
Yeah,
a
he had
lot of
like
people.
20 plus assists in Bundesliga for Wolfsburg before he came to Liverpool. So he was
Right.
proven commodity. Only Mourinho didn't apparently value him. Everybody else valued him.
I don't know. I wouldn't, sometimes you have to give players a chance to develop. And if you don't have the time, like when you play for certain people, they're not going to give you the time. Some people will, based on what their agenda is, and some people won't. I just don't think it's just too soon. They really didn't give him enough time. It was like almost less than a season, But yeah, nobody argued at the time when they got rid of him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So hindsight is 2020. So Liverpool are the champs. Congratulations, Klopp, your whole goddamn Liverpool. And I watch like videos on just Klopp and Liverpool. Like, Liverpool. I like the Liverpool jersey. Do you like the Liverpool jersey?
Yeah.
But you know that New Balance is going to no longer be their sponsor.
I've heard it, yeah.
It's going to be Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I thought the teams paid the companies like Nike or New Balance to make their jerseys. But I didn't know those companies had to pay the team. And New Balance has been, they make a great jersey. It's like one of the best jerseys in the league, like look-wise. And so now a bunch of people bid on it. Like Adidas bid, but Adidas used to be the sponsor before. And so then they for some reason, they didn't qualify. And then Puma already just got a contract with another team. So then they didn't have the money to offer Liverpool the money to be their jersey provider. So then they were out. So it was between New Balance and Nike. And New Balance offered like 45 million, right, for it. And Liverpool offered less than 45 mil, but they offered more of the sales of the jersey. You know what I mean? Which would add up to 75 million. So then New Balance offered that same offer. But then Nike was like, we can offer you the same thing as New Balance, but we can offer you the star power of LeBron James, Drake, and Serena Williams to like match up with the Liverpool jersey to help push it even more.
Well, as a matter of fact, and you touched upon that, it was LeBron James who brought Nike to Liverpool. That was LeBron's move. He did that. He's a part-time owner of Liverpool. He owns 2% of Liverpool.
But also Klopp has a manager kind of that sends him out on speaking engagements. Mm-hmm. And Scott Klopp met the guy used to work for Nike. He was an exec at Nike. Mm-hmm. And Klopp, when Klopp was in the Bundesliga, Klopp went to this guy and spoke to this guy and said, hey, I want Nike to outfit me or his team. And at the time, Nike didn't like give like outfit coaches. But the guy liked like the way Klopp came in there and spoke to him and was like, this guy can talk. So then the guy formed a management company and he would hire Klopp out to speak and make money speaking to he hired him to come and do motivational speeches at Nike and like all those other companies. So this guy recognized something in Klopp, like his motivational powers. Like you just dealt with Tony Robbins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Klopp has this ability. So then the Nike guy, so I think that also helped, like that now Klopp's speaking guy, engagement guy who hires him. And this guy also has a few other clients now who people hire for speeches and they get paid. And so I think that's also another in why Nike had like the opportunity to take over from Liverpool as their jersey.
Yeah. I mean, it's two things. First of all, I checked about the LeBron's investment, which is very interesting because he, I think, invested in 2010 around $7 million and bought 2% of Liverpool, which right now that 7 mil is worth over 30 mil. So rich get richer, and it sparked a bunch of NBA players investing in soccer. James Harden last year invested in Houston Dynamo, bought 5% of Houston Dynamo, and last month Kevin Durant bought 5% of Philadelphia Union. So, and because the MLS teams, we'll see with coronavirus, but generally are on the rise in terms of value.
On the rise, yeah.
Maybe that will be a way to do it. Basketball players or football players, baseball players with those huge contracts will invest in soccer teams.
You know what's crazy? Like Liverpool is worth like almost $2 billion now, or something like that.
Yeah.
But when that hedge fund guy and the Fenway Park Consortium bought it, 350 million euros. Yeah. That is so fucking cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so cheap for like a storied franchise. It's not like you buying Burnley for 350.
They hit
350 million euros.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they had a lot of debt and stuff like that, and they had to clean everything up. But it's not like you're buying Sheffield United, a team that's really not won anything, or Burnley. It's not like you're buying like some team. 350
and a team
million
for
a team with a huge following and a history. That's like shit. If I'd have known they were that cheap, I would have told you and a bunch of friends, let's pitch in on this motherfucker.
Joe Rogan, for example.
I would have told Joe to buy it. Jesus Christ. Because there's no way you're not going to make money.
Yeah. Well, LeBron did from 6, he made like almost 40. So he made 700% on his investment in 10 years. That's great.
Football teams are cheap. I'm going to look into like whoever's, because there's so much. Football's been around so long. There's teams that have so much history that aren't doing well. And if they get the right owner, like they could leverage their past to build like a great financial future.
Newcastle, best example.
Newcastle, yeah. This
well-supported team. Yeah.
Shit, Blackburn, Aston Villa, teams that have won shit, like the teams that have won Europe.
Nottingham Forest.
Not in the yeah. There's so many teams like that. They're dirt cheap now. There are a bunch of people, right people get together, buy those teams, and put money into it, like, and you just like flash their history and like revive the whole base, and just it's crazy. There's money in football. I'm trying to see.
Well, I'm going to ask you one thing, though. When we're closing the Liverpool subject, I want to ask you, so they just won the Champions League. Right now they won the title. And they'll have the Premiership? A longer break because they're not going to participate in the Champions League. Do you think that Klopp is capable of building something more, I would say, consistent for the next couple of years? Or you think that probably other teams will catch up with Liverpool and they're not going to have the same hunger from now on?
Well, it depends on the type of manager Klopp is, and we'll find out. Like, it's definitely going to get tougher. Like, he made the league, like, made the league, took it to like another level. So everybody is going to be coming for him. Like, Man City knows what their problems are. They need defenders. And, you could buy good defenders, but then it's going to take a while for those defenders to like get used to playing in England. So, they might not be able to catch him right away, or they might be. Chelsea, they do a great job of buying players like in the middle of the season that are going to come at the beginning of the season. So they got Timo Werner and they got somebody else. I forgot the name of the other person. And then they already have all this depth, you know, and they have young players coming up and they have the right mixture of veterans, people who've won shit. So Chelsea is definitely going to be better than they were last year. Like this year, they didn't have consistent scoring because Tammy was young, Hudson-Odoi was young, and I think Tammy's going to be a good scorer. But you add Timo Werner to that, and you know this other new person, I can't remember his name right now. Like Chelsea's going to be better. Manchester United is going to be better because we have Bruno Fernandes, Pogba. We're looking at Sancho. And we're looking at Havertz. You know, I don't know what we're going to spend or what we're going to do, but at least those three teams are going to be better. It's going to be more of a challenge. And what is Klopp's desire? You know what I mean? So we'll see. And I just wonder what they're going to do for the rest of the season, Liverpool. Are they going to try to go for the full 105 points available? Or are they going to like, all right, we won the league already, fuck it?
I think the next game will be a challenging game for them because they obviously celebrated and partied, and I'm pretty sure they did. I remember when I was around Polish national team that won first qualification of the World Cup after 16 years back in 2001. They won the game against Norway 3-0 on, I think, on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And on Wednesday, they played a game against Belarus, which didn't come for nothing. And they got beat like 4-1. But they were all drunk and hangover. They completely went straight from like a party bus on the field. So it might happen to Liverpool in the next game. We don't know.
Yeah, they play Man City. It's going to be tough to beat the second best team in the league. It's not like they're playing like a lower division team. It's like, and then do you want to get people injured for next season? It's like, because you already won. Do you like what do you do, or do you just keep this thing going? Like, it's tough to figure out. I'm going to watch the match. Man City should be probably more motivated. Or are Man City going to save themselves for Champions League too and the FA Cup? You know, because they can win some trophies still. So they both, you know, it's funny. Football is not straightforward, we know. It's like you can't just go for a win. You have to figure out what you might lose trying to win something, you know? So then you can't go full on. You have to like, you know, what's more valuable to me right now? So we'll see what's more valuable to them. Speaking of value, right? We can come back to the Premiership, but I want to go to Manchester United and the FA Cup, which they played. Let me see when they played this game.
Saturday.
Yes. Sunday. No, not
Saturday.
Saturday. So Manchester United, in the quarterfinals for the FA Cup, they beat Norwich City 2-1. And this is the worst victory in the history of Man United. And I'm going to go on a rant. So let me just pull up the lineup.
By the way, I'm mad. I'm mad at Oli that he didn't put that lineup against the Spurs a week ago. Should have.
Exactly. Like the fact that you're mad at that means I'm right. And it's like, listen, man. The most important thing for us to do is qualify for Champions League, not win the FA Cup. Does the FA Cup qualify us for anything? Does it give us anything?
No, it's just a cup.
It's just a cup, right? It's not like, you know, sometimes if you win the FA Cup, you get to, it doesn't get you into Europe or nothing like that, right?
I think winning, it gets you to Europa League, yeah. It gets you to Europa League.
Yeah, we're already in the Europa League. No. So we don't need to win this that bad.
But it's traditionally like an English trophy because he has over 100 years of a tradition.
Fuck that. Here's my rant. Fuck that, Martin. You're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I said on the show last episode that we have the most depth we've had since Ferguson. Even when Ferguson was there in his last few years, we didn't have depth like this. That doesn't mean in a game you play Lingard and Mata. You feel me? And Dalot. And that does not mean that's what you do with our depth. Because if you put 3 players who aren't as good as the players we could have played, it hinders us from actually getting into the Champions League, which it still might. Because what we did was we looked at Norwich and was like, oh, it's just Norwich. But Norwich is in the Premier League. They've beaten Man City, all right? And they're fielding the best team possible. You can't look at a team from the Premiership.
Yeah, especially that.
Let me finish, Martin. Sorry, let me. You can't look at a team from the Premiership and be like, we're going to play a team against them as if that team is in the Championship or divisions below that. You can't do that because you can lose. So then I think Solskjaer was thinking, let me rest my players like Pogba, let me rest Pogba, let me rest Martial, let me rest Rashford, because we have games in a row coming up in the Premier League. But what you actually did was cause less rest for players like Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, who hasn't gotten a break since the season started, and for sure, you've caused less rest, and now those players have to go and play all these games that we got. We got a game tomorrow, and Fernandes, Maguire, and Shaw played over 120 minutes in this game. If you had started Rashford, Martial, I don't even mind you starting Igalo, because I think he would have provided quality and still scored a goal. And if you'd have started Pogba, this is what you would have did. You'd have won this game in, say, 70 minutes. By 70 minutes, you'd be up at least 3. And then you could pull Bruno Fernandes, and he would and put him on the bench and bring in McTominay or Fred or somebody, right? And then you could have put in Lindelof for Maguire. And then you could have played Williams to rest Shaw in 70 minutes and still had control of this game and saw it to the end. And then everybody would just combine would have played less minutes. But instead, you disrespectfully played this team with these players, and it caused us to go to the end of extra time, right before penalties, where we could have got beaten.
Yeah, against Tim Krul. I mean,
against Krul, yeah,
good on penalties. He's very good.
Yeah, so this is just bad managing. And then this is what Solskjaer did to add insult to injury. We're up 1, right? We're up 1, and then these are the changes that he makes when we're up 1. He puts in Brandon Williams for the lot, right? And who else did he put in?
Rashford?
Not yet. I don't think that's when he put in Rashford. But he put in Brandon Williams for the lot. And he made 2 changes that were like, he made these changes like, I think it was Greenwood, Matic, and Brandon Williams. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if that's what he did. But he made changes as if to say, we're up 1. There's 20 minutes to go. We got this. Let me put these players in. But it's like, you're only up 1. These players cannot hold this 1 together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to put in your best shit. And so it was a bad sub, and then Cantwell scored and even the score. And then he had to make more substitutions and bring in more players to play.
Greenwood, Matic, then Rashford and Pogba. Yeah.
No. That wasn't the first set of substitution. The first set of substitution he brought in.
Brendan Williams,
so let me tell you something, Martin. Look at me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem with putting in Brandon Williams. I like Brandon Williams, but then Dalot's not doing anything, right? He's not going forward. and he's not crossing the ball. So you take Delap plays on the right, right? Mm-hmm. So you take another left-footed player, exchange him for a right-footed player, and then now this left-footed player is on the right, but when he gets forward, he's got no right, so he can't cross the ball. So we're still stuck. So there's no, it was just terrible. It was a terribly managed game, and it cost us so much extra playing time, and I hope we don't suffer because we got to play Brighton Hove, and Brighton Hove has been playing really good football.
Yeah.
And Brighton Hove has been playing. Brighton Hove, when I see them play like Arsenal, it looked like Brighton Hove during quarantine had been meeting up and practicing without anybody knowing. That's the type of football they look like they're playing right now.
And they're very compact. They're very, very strong at home. They beat us 3-0, and that led to Pochettino's dismissal. So
right.
So they're very, very strong at home. They pretty much don't lose at home. They don't lose, and I think they beat Man U at home a year before, right? In the previous season, they beat you guys 3-2.
I don't remember. I might have blanked it out. I might have blanked that out.
Yeah.
But it's like we can't. Wolves is ahead of us now. They won their last game.
Yeah, which
right?
is a good team. Which is a really good.
And they're a good team. And it's like first of all, I know we played. This was our third game, but play the squad, play our starters so that they can get even more used to each other. It's like, what do you think you have this? Listen, the people we have on our bench, you can't be playing people that can't, like Mata might be able to start for some teams in the league, but way down the league. Lingard can't. Like, I like Lingard, good guy, fine, but he don't got it no more. You can't put him out there with that amount of responsibility like he's got it. He didn't add anything. Mata, he's older. He's not the Mata he used to be. And he couldn't even make the Spanish squad. Yeah. So you can't start him as if he's going to do this thing. Like, once in a while, Mata will do something because he has experience and he has age, but you can't, like, you don't have the time to wait for it to be that day. You need to put players out on the field who are definitely going to do something. And it's like, to play two of those players when we need goals, it just, we had so much possession, so little chances. I think Lingard made 2 passes complete all game.
Yeah, it was a mistake, especially that you played a team that is pretty much out of the Premier League already. They have no shots, no legitimate shot to stay in the Premier League. So for them, that was the last meaningful game of the season, where they to advance. So they were fighting, and actually their 2 best players, which didn't show that much of a value in the Premier League games, they both stepped up in this game, which is Cantwell and Aarons. They were both pretty solid in this game. Cantwell scored a goal, so.
Because I think they were auditioning for their job.
Yes, they were.
They were auditioning to come to Man U.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what Solskjaer was thinking. He sat on that bench so smug at the beginning of the game with that lineup. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? It's like, I want to like you, but you can't make huge mistakes like this. You just cost us so many hours of legs, man. It's so crazy.
And listen, if he wants to win the FA Cup, it's not going to be easy because the next game he play is against Chelsea in the semifinals. Yeah. And the second and 2 other teams are Arsenal and Man City. So it's going to be a long way to win the FA Cup. Actually.
It's so much effort. It's like, just try to get 5th. Just try to get 5th or 4th, bro. Put it there. And if you win the Europa League, fine. Focus on the Europa League and be coming in 5th or 4th. But this quest for the FA Cup, it's not worth it this year. You don't have the players to win it. You don't have the time. Based on COVID, now we're back from this break. It's like, fuck the FA Cup, bro.
You know who wants to win? You know who wants to win the FA Cup because they would win it for the, I think, 3rd time in a row, City, and they can't win the league. They're not. They can't stuck in this situation. They might not play the Champions League even next year, and for them it matters to win another trophy. It actually makes sense to go for it.
Yeah. It's like you have misguided values. And on this one, for real. It's like, come on, get it together. So that was just a huge disappointing thing to see. just in other FA Cup news, like you mentioned, Chelsea beat Leicester. And at first, Chelsea started like 3 young midfielders. Like, look at Frank Lampard. He started not 3 young midfielders, but he started like a young squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
He started a young squad. Gilmore, which he kind of played out of his position because when he's playing, he's like center. He played. Trying to think of the 3 guys that he subbed out. He started Gilmore and 2 other young people. And at halftime, he's like, "This shit ain't working," and he subbed them out and put in like people with experience, like Ross Barkley, Aspilicueta. So he took out James for Aspilicueta, and he put in Kovacic. You know, so he took out Mount. You know, they just weren't doing it. They were lethargic, and they won the game in regular time. And I think, how come Solskjaer, at least by halftime, didn't realize this ain't working? Why does it? How many more passes does Lingard have to not make for you to be like, and Mata? How ineffective does Mata have to be for you to be like, all right, it's not working. I gave him a chance. Like, sometimes Solskjaer.
What if they start tomorrow? Lingard and Mata.
Man, listen, I'd need a new TV. That'd be so crazy, bro. That'd be. I can't even fathom that. I don't even want to go there mentally. I don't know. Lingard, you know what Lingard is good for us? To sell for 20 million and use that 20 million, put 30 million to it, and buy like a good $50 million player.
Well, the problem is that 2 years ago he was England player at the World Cup. Right now,
that's why you could sell him for 20 million. That's why I sell him for 20 million. The further you go away from the World Cup, the harder it's going to be to get that money from him. Sell him. Let's get this money.
He's only at 26 years old or 27, and he didn't produce a goal or assist in a year and a half. I mean, it's incredible how much he dipped in just 2 years.
Maybe he'll go.
There has to be a reason for that.
Maybe he'll go somewhere and be better. But let's do it so we'll both benefit. He'll go somewhere and a change of environment will make him better, and then we'll use the money to buy, a player that can help us now. But this is not working, bro. Like you can't have Lingard starting for Manchester United. You can't have players that can't start on teams below us starting for us. That's crazy. You're Manchester United. Like, you look at City's bench, those players could be starters on other teams from us on down. They could start on Leicester. They could start, some of City's players on the bench could start for Liverpool. And Liverpool are the champs, points ahead of them. Like, clean up our bench, man. Clean up our bench. And then City beat Newcastle 2-0. So like you said, like, the Arsenal's in it too. Like, it's the traditional top 4 teams of England vying for the FA Cup. FA Cup doesn't mean as much as it used to mean, but the fact that 4 of the top teams in England that have traditionally been like, they've all won the Premier League, this makes the FA Cup more valuable than it normally is, because the value of the FA Cup has kind of plummeted in recent years. But, having a semi-final with Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, and Manchester United, in those 4 teams in anything will give whatever it is value.
Yeah, I still think City will probably win it because they're the best team out of the 4, and also they probably the most likely to put the best lineups in those games. So I think City will probably, and Guardiola said it that he wants to win it. So he said it after the Chelsea game that he wants to win the FA Cup. he counts those trophies. He likes to win those trophies and have it, at his name that he won that number of trophies for Barcelona, for Bayern, and now for City.
Right.
He likes it. I mean, that's
it.
important for him. Arsenal. Well, Arsenal is another interesting story because they just re-signed 5 of their players, including David Luiz. So I was like doing a little research. So I was like, you were perturbed when you heard that, right? Yeah.
Because he just gave up 2 goals and got a red card.
Yeah.
And then, hey man, you want a new contract? And it seems crazy, but Arsenal don't have any money.
Yeah. They
don't have any money, so all they can do is re-sign people. You know what I mean? It's the cheapest way to have players. Also, I was watching this pundit in England on Match of the Week, and she said, when you ask the young Arsenal players, like who's helping them out, who's helping them acclimate, who's helping them come through, it's David Luiz. So I think he's doing something off the field that we don't see. So that makes more sense because it seems fucking crazy to reorder more David Luiz mistakes. You know what I mean?
And I'm surprised that he wanted to stay, to be quite honest with you, because he's so scrutinized.
But who was going to take a David Luiz?
I mean, a lot of players go back to Brazil at some age. Yeah, I mean,
he has a restaurant in London. You told me he wants to eat it. Huh?
Dani Alves did it this year. He went back to Brazil.
Yeah, but you told me, or somebody told me, David Luiz and William have a restaurant in London, a Brazilian restaurant, and so they have a business there. So
you don't have to be where is your business. I mean,
some people want to be.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that could be the reason. Mm-hmm. And if players, sometimes players don't care what people think of them.
Which is good. That's the way it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
It should be. You have to have a thick skin in this business, otherwise it will be difficult.
Yeah, like he's been told he was trash before and still went on and won stuff. So
it change the way he plays. People are always saying that he's not really a defender. He shouldn't be a defender. He's still a defender. So
yeah, he's a CDM. He's a CDM. I don't know why. But I saw the Arsenal Sheffield United game. Sheffield United, man, they're having it rough since the break.
Yeah.
You know? They had to score 3 goals against Arsenal to get 1 goal. VAR was like, nah, try again. Nah, try again. All right, we'll give you this one. And then the last minute of the game, Arsenal score and won. But it was all the young kids, man. And they was hustling their ass off. Arteta's in a tough but maybe great situation, but it's still going to be tough because you don't have any money to buy players. But you have all these young, attacking, amazing players. Like, their bodies look young, they run young, but they're all fucking talented. But they, they're just, it's just going to be like the fans of Arsenal are going to have to be patient with Arteta because Arsenal, when you re-sign a David Luiz and don't use that money to pay or buy somebody else.
And Cedric, and they extended the loan of Ceballos as well.
Ceballos scored.
He didn't really produce. Yeah, he scored in this game, but so far he's been a disappointment, and that's not the first time because he's been disappointment Real Madrid the last couple of seasons as well. Right. Gifted player, he was a huge star of Spain under 19 and under 20 teams. People are saying that he's the next big thing, like the next Xavi or whatsoever. Right. And it never happened, never happened. I think he's got talent. There was a few games that was like, oh, okay. But a lot of times, no.
All right. We'll see. We will see. What's up in the league? Let me see what's going on in the league. So Villa loses to Wolves. Fucking Traore comes on, changes the game again.
Always.
He didn't make the assist, but he made the assist to the person who made the assist that scored the one goal that Wolves needed to get past Aston Villa. And Jesus. And then Southampton beats Watford 3-1. My homeboy Lee. You've spoken to Lee on this show before, right?
Yeah.
He's a Southampton fan, so now that they're over 40 points, he feels relaxed. And this is a good season for Southampton. It's funny, like Burnley and Southampton were having terrible seasons at one point in the season. Now Burnley's just flying. Like they just beat Crystal Palace today, and they're playing good football. They're playing watchable football. Like this is Burnley. Like if they believe you can beat them, they'll play tough counter-attacking type football. But if they believe they can beat you, they'll disrespectfully attack you. Like you could tell they felt, we can beat Crystal Palace. So in the beginning of the first half, the entire first half, they attacked Crystal Palace. They started playing ball as if they were Man City. Like they said, oh, Burnley can play ball. If they believe they can beat you, they'll start passing it around. They won't be direct. They'll build up the play. So that's how you know what Burnley thinks of you. When they start like Man City and Liverpool in the ball around you. But if they don't think they can beat you, then they'll just be direct and play counter-attacking football. So that's how you know you're being disrespected by Burnley. And me scored for them today, and they're having a great season. Like, and this was a bad season for them for a lot of the early part of the season.
Yeah. I mean, listen, for Aston Villa, it's a tough loss for sure. Crystal Palace I think they should be fine, although, you never know.
Yeah, they're fine. They got over 40 points.
Yeah, they should be fine. But for Villa, it's definitely a problem. I think Norwich is already down. I think Bournemouth and West Ham and Aston Villa and
Watford
will fight for those two spots.
Yeah, it's like, who does Bournemouth play next? Bournemouth plays Newcastle. So I'm torn because I want Villa to stay up, but if they go down, we might get Grealish.
Do you think you need Grealish? Because he's kind of like Fernandes. I think they're very similar players.
Yeah, but we need depth. We need depth.
Too expensive for a depth guy.
So what?
He might be too expensive for a depth guy,
I mean, City got a lot of expensive depth guys. So does you just need it. Like yesterday, Fernandes played by himself, right? For a period without Pogba, and he's been playing. That was his third game in a row, like in a week, and he was tired. There's going to be times when you just can't play both of them at the Pogba and. Like, you're going to have to rest one. And where's that creativity going to come from? A Mata or a Link? Fuck that. Sell those guys, get rid of their salaries, use that money, pay for an expensive Grealish or somebody that...
Cantwell, maybe?
Say again?
Maybe Cantwell from Norwich. He's interesting.
Cantwell, yeah. Like, just pay. It's like you're not going to win the league without paying for... There was a point where Liverpool was rebuilding and there's like getting pieces from other teams that were kind of in the cheap range. But then there was a point like, we need a goalkeeper and we need a defender. And they cost 80, whatever. And it's like, we just have to pay for them. We can't.
They actually were spending money like crazy a little bit. I remember they spent like 35 million for Andy Carroll. That
was before Klopp, right? That was we're talking about with Klopp. Yeah. There's a point where you got to be like, nah. Like when you're building something, there's a focus and everybody's on board. Like now, it's like, yeah, you can get like we did good business with Wan-Bissaka. We did good business with Bruno Fernandes, and we have players that came up, and Marshall was good business years ago, and he's developing. And but there's some places on the field where you're just going to have to spend money. You have to like, all right, this is what we're going to spend money here because this is the reason why we did good business before, so that we can spend money, big money, in these other places.
The question is, do you hold on to De Gea, or you sell him for good money, where because his value is still there. His market value is pretty high. So, do you sell him, or do you keep him?
It's like, I was never good at getting out of relationships. You know what I mean? I'm the wrong person to ask. Like, if I'm in a relationship, it's going great, and then it starts to go bad, I keep thinking, well, it used to be good, so we should keep going, and it'll get better again. And then there'll be moments when it gets better again, but it'll be too much bad for it to be worth it. But I'll keep going until it's undeniably just bad. But I admire the people who can recognize way before me when something is just never going to work, even when it looks like it's going to work, and just get out of it. So we need that type of person to make that decision over there. I can't make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because let's say you sell Lingard back in 2018, you get good money for Lingard. Right now,
he was good in 2018. There's no need to sell him in 2018.
It's like with stock exchange, like his stock was high in 2018. Right now, it's very low. De Gea's stock is still pretty high.
Right.
And you have Henderson, potentially a good goalkeeper you can bring and play next year. Would you sell De Gea for, let's say, 50 mil and get a guy like Grealish for that money, or and play Henderson, or you risk that De Gea will make more mistakes and his value will dip?
I mean, either sounds good. Henderson is not that good either. He got beat. Let me see that. He's young, so he in the FA Cup against Arsenal, he got beat twice today. He got beat on the near post for a goal. So it's like, that ain't great. I'm not sure he'll be a great goalkeeper. He's doing good for Sheffield. That doesn't mean he'll do. If he does at Sheffield what he does at Man U, that wouldn't be good enough. You feel me? Like, yeah. If he plays at the same level at Sheffield, if he takes that level to Man U, that's not good enough for Man U. So he'd have to get better. Like, Ali better go take some, what's the name of the guy you just had the seminar with?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins motivational classes, because he needs to motivate these dudes for real.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. So as far as games coming up, Man U plays Brighton Hove tomorrow, so we have to win that, and we better start everybody.
Yeah. Tough game. Very tough game.
Yeah.
They just beat Arsenal a week ago. So
yeah, I watched it, and they played good football.
They play good football. They're very tight. There's not like a single star, single player that drives the team around him. They're pretty much very equal with their capabilities, and they play well together.
Yeah,
so defensively, Dunk is a very good center back that organizes the whole defense. Yeah.
Yeah, good, solid, tight, good passing. There's some teams like Burnley, like, it's the key to Burnley. And I guess it's always been the key. And maybe they lost it, but they found it back. It's like, you don't want to get in a 50-50 situation with them. They'll win it. They'll turn a 50-50 into a 60-40 in their favor. Like, they get to 50-50s. They won every extra ball in that first half. And Brighton kind of reminds me of that type of attitude. And, like, Man U needs to get on the field with a full squad and win this game early. Like, just discourage the shit out of them. Like, make them feel like it's futile and win this game early so that they could just coast for the rest of the game. That's what we need to do with anybody we got to face right now. We're not facing anybody of any caliber until we meet Leicester. But we can only beat these teams we tried beating these teams before without Pogba and Bruno at the same time, and we failed miserably. Now that we have them, start everybody and break them down, put everybody on the field, break them down, beat them, and then you could use your subs and rest people. Let's not play no games.
Yep.
There's Chelsea versus West Ham. Chelsea should take care of that. Arsenal versus Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, they will win. Norwich is done already. Done.
We'll see. Arsenal's like, they still have their issues, man.
Yeah, but if they don't beat Norwich is clearly the worst team on the league. I mean,
but they play good football. Tottenham versus Sheffield. What do you think about your chances against Sheffield on Thursday?
Listen, if the season started 2 weeks ago, I would say Sheffield have the worst team in the league. So looking at the way they played last 2 weeks, I think the Spurs have to handle it.
Yeah, you do. You have to handle it.
We do.
Yeah, you got Harry Kane. Man City versus Liverpool. What do you think?
It could go both two different ways. It can go the way where Liverpool still have some pride, in terms of we're proof that we're the legit champions and that we're a better team than City, or they already relaxed and partied and had a good time, and they will just not be at their best. And then the City will steamroll past them, winning like 3-0 or nothing. I can see it going both ways, either like a tight game or steamrolling from City.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see if Liverpool comes to the game smelling like champagne. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then it's like another set of games this weekend before we even do the podcast again.
Yeah. I've heard a criticism on one of the podcasts, actually not the only one. A lot of people are saying that, well, they shouldn't bring the league back because the level of football is poor and it's all for money. It's all because of sponsors.
Yeah.
The players don't play and it's really good and it's not really entertaining. And a lot of people complain. But you know what? At the same time, I'd rather watch that than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, at first, there were some bad games, but the quality is getting better. Like I said, I've watched 2 Burnley games in a row, and I was like, oh shit, Burnley's balling, And I didn't expect to feel that way about Burnley. And then it's good to see.
The new game was pretty bad, though. That was a pretty bad game.
No. That's of course. I'm not gonna argue with you about that. That shit was like, it was trash. Yeah, I was watching Ollie, man. But the Man U versus Sheffield game before that was pretty entertaining and optimistic. And that's what I want to see. That squad, I want to see that squad on the field.
I would say Chelsea against City was probably the best game so far, I think.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah. And Pulisic, fantastic what he did.
Yeah.
He made full out of Mendy. He made complete full out of Mendy.
Yeah, like the pace on that guy. Listen, I know that Mount is English, and I know they play different positions, but sometimes I feel like they'll make sure Mount gets on the field and put somebody else on the field so that Pulisic can't get on the field. But you got to play Pulisic. He's just better than Mount. Like, you have a Pulisic, you play a Pulisic until somebody else can take that position from him. That motherfucker can fucking ball.
Yeah, he's super fast, but he also reads the game very well. He makes intelligent decisions. I'll tell you what, I haven't been that excited about American national team forever, probably. I think with Reina and Pulisic up front, and they have all those young kids from Bundesliga.
Yeah.
The United States could be pretty good, especially when they host the World Cup in 2026, 5 years from now.
Yeah, but don't worry. Don't worry about it. There's never going to be a 2026. Listen, this is the last year in the history of years. Don't worry about it.
That would be bad luck for American national team. That would be really bad luck. The world ends before they.
As opposed to the bad luck that's going on all over the world, right?
Yeah. That would be unfortunate if the world ends before the Pulisic and Reina hit their prime for national team, for sure.
I know. That would be a crazy combo. But yeah, that's it, man. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug or say?
Sure. I mean, the hunt is still on, and hopefully more to come. Call of Duty. My character is Kreuger. You can still play it. I think they released the new mobile version of it. And watching games, trying to figure out. I'm trying to get to Tony Robbins because as a part-time owner of LAFC, I would love to talk to him about soccer. Let's see what happens. I put the request on. Let's see what happens.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Hey, man, smart people invest in soccer. That's all I can say. We need to do that.
Yeah.
Do they? Can you put $10 in? Like, what's their limit? What's the lowest amount? I
think if you come with the main investor, like for example, James Harden bought 5% and Kevin Durant bought 5% in respectively Houston Dynamo and Philadelphia Union. I think if you jump on a deal with those guys, then you can just invest something, but they're the main investor, but you kind of join the group in a small percentage. I'm pretty sure that some of the people did that.
Yeah, let me put 5 on that Dynamo shit. Let me get 5 on it.
It's growing.
Yeah, it's growing. Or it was. We'll see.
Yeah, no, they should be fine. They should be fine.
All right. As for me, I want to thank Aaron Brungardt again for putting it down, putting this together. And I want to thank my internet for not fucking up this week. So that was pretty impressive. I did it earlier in the day, so I didn't have to worry about it. It stopped for like a full 10 minutes, but now, it's working. So thank you, internet. And I don't know when I'm going to be touring, but I'm just going to be doing this podcast. And follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic and on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic. And like and subscribe on YouTube. Smash the like button. All Things Comedy. Thank you. Aaron, thank you. Martin, thank you. Everybody else, be safe, be good, love each other. Let's make this world a better place. Sounds cliche, but fuck it. Let's do it. All right, 1.